Oh, yeah. Phil and Rye right back here on Listen Up, presented by Dempsey's and Sportsland. Ryan, finally some good news. I actually saw a shout out to one of our subs. They commented during the game, and they're like, man, finally it's Sunday where we can relax for a change, right? Hopefully our subscribers can relax because they have been very stressed out lately. I tell you what. Again, it's not our fault, right? It's not your fault. It's not my fault. Ryan, UConn defeats Florida State Seminoles 85-77 on this Sunday as the Seminoles fall to 11-2. UConn, number 9 UConn, 8-2 on the season, Ryan. And, before we get into the recap, I just want to shout out to head coach Gino. I hope that he is okay. Shout out to Chris Daly for stepping in, head coach Chris Daly. And as she coached the way to victory, So just shout out to Daly and company. And again, she's been around so as long as Gino, so nothing new as far as the assistant coach stepping into the head coaching role. But I just want to shout out to Gino very quickly, Ryan. I hope he is okay. It was what did you mention that it was announced that he was sick?
Well, it said he wasn't feeling well in the pregame warm-ups and shoot-around, so okay. I'm not sure if he was sick or what really is the specific case there. But, yeah.
We wish him all the best.
Yeah. Nonetheless, I mean, Chris Daly stepped in, and she's where she was 13-0. Now she's 14-0 in the head coaching role. So it's good to have. We talked about her during the all season as well. It's so great to have an assistant coach or all the coaches on the bench with experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So before you go, so what I took away from this one is I finally actually paid attention for a change, huh? I know that's not too normal, is it? So this is kind of a weird Sunday. Second half turnovers. I saw, Ryan, where second half turnovers were again a problem. And they need to obviously be fixed when it comes down to the final minutes. I wouldn't say this one came down to the final minutes, but pretty close, according to some of the comments that we saw, another close ball game, something that maybe we did not expect. And Nick, thank goodness, I know that you touched on this topic before we came on. Thank goodness and Nika and Dorka. I mean, they provided a big spark for this team coming back. Not only the points they scored, but just their presence, because you told me, they're like, man, you're like, you just don't see UConn. You don't, obviously, you don't see them winning this game without Nika and Dorka back. And then again, you can touch on the fact that Amari DeBerry, I did not like it. Amari DeBerry saw no playing time, as I understand, no playing time whatsoever. Ryan, let's just set the case straight now. Hopefully that I can kind of regain some respect again, at least from you. With AZ in this game, Ryan, let's just go ahead. I'm not even saying this to act smart. I actually think with AZ in this, Ryan, Florida State scores less than 77 and UConn scores over 100. Okay. I'm just going to set the point straight now before it gets too much out of hand. But yeah, so I can't wait for AZ FUD to return, right? Because again, I had them winning this game as a blowout. A win is a win. I get it. But just to set the case straight after what we went through against Maryland, I think they win this game easily, scoring over 100 points with AZ FUD in the lineup. Anyway, shout out, and you want to tip your hat. I'll tell you, if you ever want to tip your hat to anybody, tip it to Tania Latson for Florida State, as she scored 24. Although she did, I saw that I believe she fouled out.
She did
there in the fourth quarter. So again, shout out to UConn doing a good job, Ryan, of getting these opposing players into foul trouble. Okay. And not only that, the top players on the other ball team, getting them into foul trouble, forcing them out of the game before it's over, before the threat returns, right? We call it the threat at the end of the game. So, man, this is UConn basketball. I told you, Ryan, this is UConn basketball for at least the remainder of this season. I hope it is wins week after week. But again, I just think, and here it is, another game. I told you, I think that we're going to see, no matter if it's wins or losses, close ball games.
Yeah, and I wish they all didn't have to be like that. But, it certainly wasn't like that in the first half. UConn's offense looked very good. in the first half. Totally different team that from what we saw a week ago, just from having Dorka and Nika back in the lineup. The ball movement was great. The team chemistry was good. They were all having fun out there, making shots and playing good defense. Looked electric right out of the gates, limiting their turnovers. Were getting good shots, and they had a 20-point lead going into halftime. And it just seemed like to me in that third quarter, the turnovers started haunting them again. Florida State went on a 19-8 run in the third quarter. But UConn's free throw shooting, and you mentioned that they got aggressive and sent Florida State players, getting them into foul trouble. I think that was a really good key to this game, was UConn being more aggressive, and they actually hit their free throw shots, only missed 3 of them the whole entire game. So that was something that UConn really did good today on offense. I like to see them getting more aggressive. Lou Lopez hitting 4 threes, scoring 23 points. Aaliyah Edwards, another career high. We just saw her get a career high in the last game against Maryland. And she gets it 1 point, bested by 1 point, scoring 26 points a day. She was really good in the first half. Didn't really see much of her in the second half. Saw her a lot on the court, but in terms of scoring the ball. But she was really, really hot right out of the gates in that first half. But 26 points for her, getting rebounds, playing great defense. Aaliyah Edwards, I think so far, and I'm going to pick her as the player of the game today, but really just the player of the year, in my opinion, so far for UConn. She's been so great, comparing last season to this season, the way she's come on, not letting the last season affecting her. In terms of, I mean, she still played good, but she just had so many expectations. So I really like how she came into this season, has just stayed with the flow, stuck to her game, really improved on free throw shooting, rebounding, putting the ball back. So she played very, very good yet again today. And Dorka returning to the lineup, 15-9 for her. She played great, very consistent from her today. A lot of blocks as well. I forget how many she had, but I believe she had 5 at one point. Not sure if she got any more, but blocking machine today for Dorka Juhas. And also Nika Mule with 12 assists, yet another game with 10 plus assists for Nika Mule. So that was another thing for UConn, getting Nika back. I talked about with the Nets is just not really somebody that can control the UConn offense. And that's why I kind of said without Nika Mule in this game, I just don't really see how UConn could have came out like that in the first quarter and started that hot. But Nika Mule is just so much of a difference that she makes controlling this offense, getting passes to the open players, and just setting the UConn players up in positions where they're able to make shots, especially in transition as well.
Yeah, big 3-pointers from Dorka, Lou Lopez, Seneschal. And again, if you ask me, a key to success, man, I mean, 3 UConn Huskies with double digits in points. I mean, that's double digits, double digit figures in scoring. So Ryan Edwards, again, 26 points, Lou Lopez, Seneschal, 23, and then Dorka with 15. This is the kind of performance, especially because I was high on Dorka coming into the season. That's big. That's big, man. When Dorka, because I remember we had that video with Dorka with her fractured finger, that she'd be out for a while. But that's big, right? To recover and then come in and produce like that, for your team that I wouldn't say it's struggling, but this is not what we're used to seeing from UConn. Just let's be honest now, okay? And that's, again, man, to see Dorka come back like that put a smile on my face. It really did. The one-time transfer from Ohio State. So, yeah, I mean, Aaliyah Edwards, speaking of her, you want to actually see ball players step up. And once they catch fire, it's like this player, when she catches fire, she actually lifts her talent to a whole different level. It's not like you're getting maybe 10, 15 points, every game out of her. She's contributing, but it's just not enough to put the team on her back. Because if you ask me, somebody nowadays needs to put the team on her back, right? Somebody out there. I don't care who it is, all right? Just somebody start winning for these Huskies again, all right? So everybody can sit back and relax again and eat their peanuts and drink their beer and just have a good day, a good weekend, right? A good day. That's all we ask for. But again, Aaliyah Edwards, she's the kind of player when she goes off onto a whole different planet, right? I mean, because not only does she help as far as her stats look pretty darn good, her personal stats. Not only that, Ryan, it's just different. And whether we want to admit it or not, it's different. If UConn loses this game, yeah, Ryan, Aaliyah Edwards, she did amazing, 26 points, this and that. But they still lost, Ryan. See, that's the beauty about it, Ryan, because usually when we talk about Aaliyah Edwards, you can always post UConn in the win column.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about Aaliyah Edwards.
Yeah, I mean, all you said was very, very well said. She's just made such an impact for this team, really the whole year. And also Caroline Ducharme, she had 9 points off the bench. I liked how she played today. Very good bounce back. She's been inconsistent, as we all know, so far this season, but I still have a lot of hope for her. I still think she can get in that rhythm. So hopefully the game today, I think she played very well. So hopefully she can kind of get in a rhythm and stay in it for the rest of the season. The rebounding for UConn as well. I think they did a good job rebounding. Not a whole lot of second chance points for Florida State today. Certainly not as many as we saw against Maryland, but I think that was another thing. UConn did a very good job getting rebounds and getting second chance points. And then, like you mentioned, Amari DeBerry, no playing time. I was really kind of surprised a little bit to see that. Ayanna Patterson came off the bench, but no Amari DeBerry. But I don't know. I mean, I just don't really know what to say anymore about Amari DeBerry. I mean, we're all hoping we can see her out there, and we obviously saw her without Dorky Uhas, but I kind of expected this when she returned, that we wouldn't really see a lot out of Amari DeBerry, and it's disappointing because in the games that we've seen her play, she really does come out and contribute in the defensive column. She gets the ball down low on offense and is able to score because of her height. She's obviously very talented, but unfortunately, it just doesn't seem like we're going to see a lot out of her as long as UConn stays relatively healthy. But nonetheless, UConn gets the win today. Good team win, I think. Everybody played great. Good shooting for the most part. Struggled a little bit in the second half with the shooting all around as a team, but the defense stayed pretty consistent, limiting Latson, obviously leading the ACC in scoring. But I thought Nika Mule and the defense did a pretty good job limiting her and Florida State's 3-point shooting for the most part.
So this goes, remember when Aaliyah Edwards had career high points last game? Well, she just set a new career high with 26. So congratulations, Aaliyah Edwards. That's a possible name to remember down the stretch, because not only could she light it up in stores, we could be talking about this name as a potential top of the line candidate, top of the line player come late February, March, something about that word that rolls off of the tongue, March. All right. March on, Ryan. That's what we like. And then also there was one more. How about, I know there's a lot of concerns, even last season, even though last season's already done and wrapped up. A lot of people I see on this podcast, they're always, sometimes concerned about the free throws. Well, how about at one point this afternoon, UConn was 15 of 15 on free throws this afternoon. How about that?
Yeah, and Aaliyah missed 2 there at the end of the game. Like I said, they only ended up missing 3. But like I said, I think that was a huge part in the game. And I mean, the only way you obviously get free throws most of the time is by being aggressive, driving to the lane, and just kind of forcing the refs to make a call. So I think that's going to be pretty important for UConn going down to the stretch. I mean, just in every game, just be more aggressive. I know Gino said at one point they need to shoot more threes, and I would also agree with that as well. But I think it's really important to get teams into foul trouble and try to make them at least somehow or just a little bit use their bench players a little bit. And I think UConn did some of that today.
We do not want a couple losses to define this podcast, right? We want to see the best fans in basketball, and that's UConn Huskies basketball fans. We don't want to see the subscribers drop. Ryan, we don't want to see anything drop off on this podcast, because we want to see how well you all can represent your UConn Huskies. So do not let a couple losses define this podcast. You know what I mean? So make sure you guys keep coming through, comment, because, hey, even though the discussions, the comments get pretty heated, we love it. And we all know that you love it. Ryan loves it. Ryan, you break down every comment for me. And now it's time to do just that. Paul Singer, man. And again, if you're confused on where this podcast came from, just ask us. Comment away in the comment section. Ask us. There's always history behind everything in life, huh, Ryan? Ask us. This is where it all started. When the Middletown native, Sailor Poffenbarger, committed to UConn, but no longer there. Paul Singer goes, wonder how Gino and the team feel watching Sailor bang out yet another double-double in the Razorbacks' destruction of 16th ranked Creighton. Sailor in on her way to an all-SEC. She is a beast.
She is. Yeah. And I was so excited for her to come to UConn. And unfortunately she left, but she's been doing really well with Arkansas and the whole Arkansas team. I mean, they're undefeated. So yeah, I've been keeping up with them too a little bit, as well as many other teams in basketball. But yeah, Arkansas looks really, really good. Sailor's been playing really well. Wish her all the best. But yeah, I mean, you just have to wonder, because I think we mentioned that last season about, I mean, with UConn having so many injuries, UConn could have used all the help they could get. So you just only have to wonder what it could have been and what it would have been if Sailor would have stayed on the team. I'm sure she would have gotten some playing time. But yeah, I mean, I wish her all the best in Arkansas. And so far, her and the Razorbacks have been having a pretty good season so far.
Colleen Ziemba goes, subscribe to Sports Central, and they post the UConn pre-post game media. Dorka and Nika will be back for Sunday. Well, we have to warn them, Ryan. We actually, yes, we kind of work our way around our schedules. We appreciate, or not appreciate, we apologize if you all don't like that. We sometimes pre-record. So, Ryan, we did not have a clue when we pre-recorded earlier and brought that episode out Saturday morning. We had no idea that Nika and Dorka were coming back. The video was already recorded once the news broke. When was it? On Friday night, I guess. So, because this is Sunday. So, Ryan, how about we go into Shurian's comment? One more. Looking at the win-loss schedule of Florida State, they've played nobody. UConn would average 40-point wins if they played the Florida State schedule. Well, I remember, Ryan, there used to be days where Huskies would dominate. It didn't matter who was on the schedule.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they used to average about or they used to average about a 40-point margin of win. That's for sure. But I think the times have changed a little bit. I mean, we haven't really gotten into the Big East play so far for UConn's sake so far this season. But I just think the times have changed in terms of just the whole of UConn, or not UConn, women's college basketball, just the teams getting better. We're seeing some higher name recruits going to different schools, and it's definitely good to see for the sake of just the sport, and good to see, more and more teams get better. But I think in terms of the Big East, it's definitely going to be more of a challenge this season. It seems to be pretty good. The Big East, I think, in my opinion, it's one of the best conferences around. So it's just think that the times are changing a little bit. So it's going to be definitely a challenge this season. But I mean, we like to see, or at least I do. I like to see UConn play some of the tougher teams because it's very, very entertaining to watch.
Speaking of conference play, how about a date with Seton Hall, Ryan? A quick turnaround Wednesday, the 21st, coming up this week. Grab your peanut butter and jelly sandwich, Ryan. It's a 12 o'clock game, all right? We don't get many of those on the schedule. A nice early game recap. Ryan, I will see you right after your PB&J. Phil and Rye on Listen Up.